actually a couple years ago. I'm going to talk a little loud because we got nice wind kicking up out here now, because probably got a band somewhere in the air. You can see the cloudiness starting. We went ahead and I'm going to show you some things that we did to make this house more water safe. Every house, and this is, you know, part of the big deal about houses, every house in every community has got its own vulnerabilities. Maybe it's windows, maybe it's storm surge, you know, wind debris or storm surge or rising waters or whatever. Everything, and you have to evaluate your own house, your own neighbors' houses, to be honest with you, your community, your surroundings, to know what is your vulnerabilities. Some houses really don't have any. Some of the newer communities up in the north end of our county, those things are high and dry at 25 and 30 feet above sea level. You know, not many trees around them. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities that have been taken away. But with our house here on the island, we have the biggest vulnerability we have is rising water. Okay, we don't have a lot of wind issues. We got some bigger trees, but they're pretty substantial trees, and we're blocked. We're about 1/3 of a mile as a crow flies from the beach, but these are huge trees in the Anastasia State Park, which is right across the street from our house, that block a lot of that wind. Okay, and tidal surge, again, is, you know, it's 1/3 of a mile away, and it has to come over some pretty big dunes out there. And if that were to happen, then, you know, we got more problems than just a little bit of water in the neighborhoods, right? St Augustine probably doesn't exist right now. So you have to evaluate each house. So what we did after Irma and Matthew, we had significant rising waters during Irma, okay? And the water in this area does not drain. So we went through and did some things. And the reason it doesn't drain is because all these houses in this neighborhood were built at much different times, throughout different codes, different elevation, you know, where the county mandated different elevations, things like that. So you get what I call confused water. Okay, the water gets trapped in a lot of places. It can't get out, So it becomes an issue and starts rising. So one of the first things we did is when we re-landscaped and remodeled the whole yard, we're gonna walk around. I'm gonna show you some stuff, some preparedness stuff that we're doing here, and some preparedness stuff we had done about a year and a half ago after Irma. First thing we did is this first 10 feet of our yard here, which is actually 10 feet of county easement. Shh, don't tell anybody. No, it's all good. The county guys, they've already got approvals and everything for this. What they did is when they first did all this roadway in here, you know, underneath asphalt, they put lime rock. Well, they extended the lime rock about 7 to 8 feet into each person's property. Lime rock does not allow water percolation. So we had to dig the lime rock out of there, up underneath there, but they had about 18 inches of lime rock. Well, water was not draining, so we'd get a lot of rainwater. Even under a normal rain, we would get standing water, a lot of standing water. So what we did is we dug it all out, went down, put crushed shell in, packed it down, put another layer of crushed shell and weed barrier, packed it down, laid in these perk blocks, okay, put in more crushed shell, and then rock on top for decoration. So water percolates down through this really, really well. Okay, so water comes up and goes down, but if we get a heavy rain, within a matter of 15 minutes, that water's gone now. So that is a significant help with water standing and rising and pushing towards the house. Okay, again, remember, you got to evaluate each house. Now, we also put in around the house a couple of pumps. Again, this is just because this house sits at 8.5 feet above sea level. Most of your new stuff people are building now is 20 and 25 feet out in the north end of the county. So FEMA flood numbers are about 9.5 feet in our area. We're a foot lower than that. What you see here, and there's a set here, and there's a set on the other side by the mailbox. That is the pop out, if you will, for the pump system I'm going to show you in the backyard. I can pull that cap, put a 90-degree elbow on that with a pipe, and then shoot the water across the street if I need to off the property. This is the end of the French drains that go all the way around the house from the gutter system. That cap can pop up and get rid of excess water. That doesn't drain through the perk pipe, because a French drain, you want water to, you know, flow out of those pipes around the house, which it does. It comes out of the pipes, cloth wrapped pipes. So, but if it gets an overload, it can come out of there. All right, so that carries water under normal conditions. Just under normal rain, the gutter system carries water down into the ground instead of laying on top. Okay, so we got that. That's kind of the historical stuff. Now, of course, we're preparing for what's happening now. I deploy when I have to. We're getting ready to put some sandbags up, and we'll show you some of the things that I've done. Bought a new chainsaw in case we need it. My other one died, so I had to get a new one. So getting ready to cut up a couple pieces of wood for that front window. Now that's our vulnerable window. We have windows all the way around, but we're protected all the way around the house with privacy fence, other houses, so we're not going to really board up that stuff. Again, our vulnerability mostly is water rise and water push towards the house, okay? So again, you have to evaluate your home and see what you need to do. And we got extra stuff, you know? There's my generator. That can actually power up the whole house, kind of cool. And all that extra gas. The gas tank's full. Got 20 gallons or 25 gallons of extra fuel. Because in our area, again, part of your evaluation process, we have, we'll lose power quick, like within the first day, and then it may not come on for 4 or 5 days. So we may have lost power for quite a long time. Just a bunch of extra supplies we purchased, you know, your traditional stuff, your batteries, your flashlights, stay bill for my fuel, extra generator. Don't forget about things like extra generator batteries. This is 2-cycle oil in case I need it for the chainsaw, okay? Little headlight thing in case I got to go out in the middle of the rainstorm in the middle of the night. Just a bunch of oddball stuff, and zip tape. Now I got this from a construction site, a friend of mine gave it to me. Zip tape, if you guys ever seen my videos with the zip board that builders are using, this is the seaming tape and the flashing tape they use on that system. We're going to wrap the base of our doors with this stuff. It will be water safe at that point. We're going to wrap all the bottom of the doors and stuff, okay? So any rising water, and I'll show you that in just a minute. What else we got? I bought some of this spray foam. I was going to go up underneath the Hardy lap on the bottom, but there's really not enough room, so we're going to abandon that idea. Not even worry about it. Again, you have to, you know, just adjust, right? Tarps in case we got some of my tarps over here from the storage unit. Got some wood to go around, extra screws in case we get a hole in the roof or something. We can patch it up real quick. Let's see. That's all that. And Sharon, by the way, Sharon's inside on the computer. And this is where the generator is going to sit. We'll set the generator right behind those sandbags up by the front door. So it'll be outside, and then I can run the cord inside to the garage. Sharon is inside monitoring the events on her big computer command station. Hey, one more thing I've done here I want to show you guys. In preparation, I've taken these deck boards. Again, knowing your own personal environment. I know that water can get trapped. During Irma, I had to come out at 3 o'clock in the morning, pouring down rain with my circular saw, and cut up the original deck that I had built and rip it up so I get water to flow out of the backyard. Okay, so what I have done is I have pulled some of these deck boards so that I can, if I have to, there's 4 or 5 of them pulled here, that if I have to, I can pop them up real quick and then let water flow. But what I've also done, this is part of the building of the deck, see those holes? Up underneath these stringers are holes, so water can escape out from that underneath the deck, okay, as it flows. And I've also done the outer edge here. Let me get over here, you can see it. Again, this is just long-term preparation. Okay, so water can get out from underneath that deck if necessary, because our ultimate goal is to get water away from our house in our scenario. And this is a nice low area here, so we'll let the water flow to that area. Okay, let's go in the backyard. I'll show you this. Now remember, if you guys looked at our Santander rebuild, all this was gutted. This entire yard was totally gutted. Okay, again, more sandbags. We got them in preparation. County gave them out to us. They gave you sandbags free, dirt free. And what we're going to do, this sliding glass door and this French door, probably later this afternoon, I'm going to take that zip tape and I'm going to flash all these openings on the bottom, probably up about 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to flash it. I'm going to put plastic bags underneath there, and then the sandbags are going to go on top of it. Again, knowing your environment, if water's under this deck, it wants to rise. You have to keep it from going that way. So sandbags are for water that goes this way, right? So with the plastic bag under it, it's going to keep it from rising, hopefully, into, and then we flash it, so we should be fairly watertight, okay? To a point, of course, to a point. All right, now, the piece de resistance on our, remember what I said last year about Irma, or 2 years ago about Irma? I was able to hold the water. I mean, I just told you I was out at 3 o'clock in the morning to release water back over there. That's a brand new deck system. I had to cut out a piece of it in the middle of the rainstorm, physically lift it up to let water flow out of the back of this deck. Okay, so what I've done, the water never made it in the house, but it went from about 6 inches below that line, below the threshold, to about 1 inch. Before I was able to get that deck up, in about 15 minutes, that water went back down to about 3 or 4 inches below that. Never came in the house. Kind of taught us a lesson. So when I rebuilt this area in here, all up underneath there is totally clear. There's no obstructions. The dirt's been cleared out of there. Holes all put in the stringers like I showed you all through that deck system. Okay? And on top of that, because this back area filled up with water, this was all full of nasty dirt, and so what we've done is this all been leveled away from the house, graded away from the house. All this rock's been put down, makes it a very stable environment. We also put in place 2 11,000 gallon per minute pumps, okay? All on float switches, come on automatically. That's a 3-inch discharge, okay? There's one here, and there's one on the other side over there. We'll walk over there in just a minute. Now these are on separate 220 lines we installed. The generator can power them if we get a power outage. So we should be able to manage the water on this property. That's our personal weak point, is the standing water on this property. Okay, because behind us, again, knowing your environment, this house back us has a brand new drain field that sets up about 1.5 feet. She's also got a huge low spot right here behind our fence, and Dan, our next door neighbor, her back between these two properties, that holds water. So that's our major weak points. Okay, that's our major weak points in our property. Okay. So as you can see, we have no trees on our property. All these trees are other people's. Again, knowing your environment. Been after the neighbors to help, maintain this stuff so we don't have issues during big winds and storms. That's really the long-term preparations, and of course we're doing all the standard stuff that everybody does. Watching monitoring where the storm is. You don't want to get hooked. You don't want to get sucked into all the stuff going on and panic mode, and you have to be thoughtful. And there's some of my parts for when I have to put the 90-degree pipe on the outlets out there, and then I can shoot it all across the street. This is just waiting for deployment, right? I deploy when I have to. You don't want to get caught up in all the hype. You have to dissect that, filter it, okay? You don't panic, you just make it all happen. And remember I said about French drains around the house. Every downspout goes down into French drains that wrap this entire house. And those French drains are wrapped in a dirt sock, so the water can percolate out of it all the way around the house. So under normal rains, it just percolates into the soil. Under heavy loads, it can go into those boxes back there and be pumped out with any of the ground surface water that makes its way into the boxes. Now this will be the first storm that these have gone through. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that Dwight's engineering is proper. So it's all about planning. I won't keep you guys very much long, but it's all about planning, making sure you have stuff and knowing your personal environment. Just because your neighbor has an issue or a weakness, that doesn't mean you do, but you guys got to kind of work together to make sure. Things like I cut the grass, because that holds debris on your property. So if it's super, super tall, so I knocked it out the other day. Clean the gutters so water can flow properly, no junk in the gutters. The downspouts are clear, so all that's been taken care of. I did that a few days ago. So that's really, about the size of it. We got water, we got snacks, we got all that stuff. Teddy's got his. Don't forget about the puppies and kitties. They have needs as well too, okay? So we're gonna be in pretty good shape here, but that's kind of what we've done to prepare our house for hurricanes, if you will, just big events. So hopefully all this nice, because this house is going to be for sale soon here once our other house is done, and we want to try to protect it as much as possible and make sure she stays as cute looking as she is now. All right, any questions or comments, give me a shout. We're here for you, and if you guys need anything, call us, and we'll help in any way we can as far as helping you prepare or giving you ideas or what have you. Okay, all right, thanks.